Let's talk about money. Ugh, I know. It's probably one of the most awkward topics to bring up with our kids, right? So much uncertainty. But here's the thing. What if I told you that by not talking about it, we're actually setting them up to fail? Yeah, so today let's figure out how we can flip that script and raise kids who are not just money smart, but empathetic too. You know how it goes. It always starts with just one single innocent sounding question. It can happen anywhere. In the car, the middle of the grocery aisle, right when you're trying to relax, and bam, your heart just stops for a second. And there it is. Mom, are we rich? That's the one. The question that can make any parent just freeze in their tracks. It doesn't matter if they saw a friend's new toy or something on YouTube, it just puts you right on the spot. And how you answer, or, if you answer at all, it matters so much more than you'd think. Okay, get ready for this, because this right here shows a huge disconnect. An absolutely staggering 93% of kids form their main beliefs about money and social class before they even hit age 9. 9. But get this, only 21% of parents are actually talking to them about it regularly. You see that gap? That's a massive void, and it's where all these really dangerous ideas start to grow. So you might think staying quiet is protecting them, right? Keeping them innocent? Well, it's actually doing the exact opposite. We're creating a vacuum, and trust me, they will fill it with their own conclusions, and they're usually the wrong ones. I want you to think of your kid as a little financial detective. Seriously, they notice everything. The fancy car and the school drop-off line, the family that's always going on these amazing vacations. They're constantly picking up clues, trying to solve the mystery of money. The only problem, without you as their guide, they're piecing the puzzle together all wrong. And this is the real danger of that silence. When we don't give them the real story, kids just fall back on these really harmful, simple stereotypes. They start thinking that wealthy people must just be smarter or work harder, and that families with less money are maybe lazy or somehow not as good. These are the kinds of biases that can stick around for a lifetime, shaping how they see the world and everyone in it. So the first big step for us is to give them the real context. We have to show them that economic inequality isn't just a simple story of who tries the hardest. It's way more complicated than that. It's this whole complex web of different factors. Things like big systemic policies that have been around for ages, historical advantages that some groups have had, even access to a good education. And honestly, sometimes it's just plain old luck and timing. Having these conversations is what changes their perspective from judgment to genuine understanding. Look, if you're still not convinced, if you need a really solid, numbers-based reason to start talking, here it is, 67%. Young adults whose families were open about money show 67% better money management skills. That is a huge, tangible gift you can give your child just by starting a conversation. All right, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. Now for the good part, the solutions. And I promise it's not as scary or complicated as you think. Let's walk through a simple, really powerful toolkit you can start using right away. We're going to break this down into 4 main steps. First up, just making talk about money a normal, everyday thing. Second, giving them some real, hands-on experience. Third, we're going to tackle that big ol' elephant in the room, inequality. And last but not least, making sure what we do at home actually lines up with what we're saying. So, talking naturally, what does that even mean? It just means weaving money concepts into your day-to-day life. You don't have to sit them down and show them your bank statement. It's more about explaining the why behind what you're doing. Saying things like, hey, we're sticking to our $50 grocery budget, or this is part of paying off our car loan. Simple things like that. It pulls back the curtain, demystifies money, and makes them feel included and secure, not stressed out. Okay, next up, you've got to let them actually do it. Let them practice. An allowance is perfect for this. It teaches them how to manage a little bit of money now so they don't make giant mistakes with a lot of money later. And for older kids, a supervised debit card is a game changer. It makes spending feel real in a way that a piggy bank just can't. Think of all this as the financial training wheels they need. All right, time to tackle step 3 from our toolkit, and this is a big one, addressing the inequality elephant. Look, your child is going to notice that some families have more than others. They just will. Our job is to help them understand the real reasons why, and to do it with empathy. And the words we choose here, absolutely crucial. It's a total game changer. Just shifting from a simple but loaded phrase like, well, they're rich because they worked harder, to something like, families have different amounts of money for lots of reasons, like having different opportunities or facing different barriers. See the difference? That simple switch moves the whole conversation away from blaming individuals and toward understanding the bigger picture. And you can definitely go deeper as they get older. You can talk about real historical stuff like housing discrimination or things happening right now like pay gaps. The point here isn't to make them cynical or pessimistic about the world. Not at all. The goal is to raise informed kids who approach people with empathy instead of snap judgments. And that brings us to our fourth and final step, which might be the most important one. Remember, your kids are always watching. Our actions speak so much louder than our words. If we're talking all about fairness and equality, but at home we're not practicing it, with how chores are split or who gets the final say on money, then everything we say just sounds empty. They learn way more from what we do than from what we say. So where does this all leave us? What's the takeaway? It all leads to this. You, this week, taking one tiny, super simple step forward. You don't have to solve everything at once. You just have to start. I want you to hold this picture in your head. The goal. Imagine a confident, empathetic, financially literate 25-year-old. That's your kid. Someone who knows how to budget, who's investing for their future, and who treats everyone from every walk of life with kindness and respect. That's not some far-off dream. It's the direct result of starting these little conversations today. And to make it ridiculously easy to get started, just look at this list. Find your kid's age range and pick just one of these conversation starters. That's it. That's your homework. One simple chat this week. That's all it takes to plant that first seed of financial wisdom. There's that old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And that just says it all, doesn't it? Maybe you're sitting there wishing you'd started these talks sooner. That's totally okay. The second best time is right now. Let's not let another day slip by in silence. So, I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. What is the one money conversation, just one, that you're going to have with your child this week? The one small step you're going to take. Your answer and your action could literally change their life.